So usually when I say the word calisthenics to people, the first thing that comes to their mind is
must do 22 pull-ups, and their other standards are similarly.
So it makes it a little complicated for me to describe. While that first version of calisthenics is a crucial part of a fitness routine, that second version, freestyle calisthenics, is what I've dedicated so much of my life to. So let's try to shine some light on how this sport got to where it's at today. Calisthenics really is our most fundamental, primal way of training. People have been using their own body weight to gain new levels of fitness for thousands of years. The word itself comes from ancient Greece, and it means beauty and strength. Calisthenics has been used by armies all over the world since Alexander the Great and Han Dynasty China, and that is still true today. Armies and police forces all over the world use calisthenics as a foundation for their fitness. For thousands of years, those bodyweight basics have served people everywhere, across culture and time, as a main warrior training modality. I do think though that for some years that's why calisthenics went through somewhat of an image crisis, with uninspired PE teachers and drill sergeants making people do burpees and planks that are good exercises, but not necessarily good reflections of the insane creativity that freestyle affords. However, in recent years, especially with the advent of social media, the sport is experiencing a massive exposure boost. And while calisthenics has its roots in these basic bodyweight movement patterns, this new wave of calisthenics, freestyle, is all about dynamics, explosive momentum, high-flying skills, and statics that emphasize strong isometric holds and power. But we're gonna cover the statics in another video. Today, we are gonna be talking all about dynamics, the spins, the flips, and all the crazy shit that took the sport from where it used to be to where it's at today. Okay, so how did we get from
2 more chins
to? So the consensus seems to be that the calisthenics that we know today has its roots in the American prison system. The story goes that the removal of weights from American prisons during the 80s and 90s led the inmates to look for creative solutions in pursuit of fitness. And it makes sense that when these guys came back home, they brought calisthenics with them to their neighborhoods. And like that, a culture was born. All right, so our first recorded case of what you could call the true beginnings of freestyle calisthenics comes to us from New York in the early 2000s, with a few crews popping up with their own videos on DVD. Their message was clear. You could train outside for free with your homies, get strong, and get shredded. Most notably, we got the Rough Riders, the sport's founding fathers, who popped up on the scene in 2002.
Coming straight out the motherfucking yard, you heard? Straight out the yard for you lames, you digging what I'm saying? What I'm gonna do is give you a fine presentation of not what I call bar, but what I call gymnastics and aerial assault.
And we got the Bartenders, one of the most influential crews to date.
Y'all know what it is. Peace to the world. You know what I mean? We're very thankful to be here again to empower you physically, mentally, and spiritually.
It was those two crews that popularized the early versions of the dynamic movements, which serve as the foundation for freestyle comps today. And by 2005, the movement had some serious momentum. Things really took off with the start of YouTube in 2005. The platform really helped usher in what a lot of people consider the golden era of calisthenics. People started uploading clips of their street workouts, and other people got inspired. The movement picked up speed, and suddenly, millions of people were tuning in to see athletes pushing the boundaries of bodyweight workout. During that era, we witnessed the advent of the first spins, starting with 180s over the bar, aka bar hops, to muscle up 360s and pull up 360s. Somewhere along the way, it became art. Calisthenics absorbed many aspects from gymnastics, which makes sense. The skill sets have a lot of overlap. It's also then no surprise that the routine aspect of gymnastics eventually found its way into the calisthenics community, which can be seen in the earliest competitions. And that to me is where it gets really interesting. Because the truth is, being able to do a bunch of cool moves in the park, on your videos, in front of your friends is one thing. but being able to bust them out in comp under pressure, any athlete will tell you that's a whole different game. Competitions played a huge part in the evolution of freestyle calisthenics. Every time a new move was done in comp, it set a new level for the sport. It set a benchmark for athletes all over the world that had to level up so that they could match it. During that era is when we had the first world competitions, organized by the WSWCF of Latvia. Now, what I got from watching all the old videos trying to piece the history together is you could clearly see that there was a lot of OG East Coast calisthenics guys that were involved with the Latvian guys trying to make these events happen. The format of these competitions was exhibition style. Athletes would perform a prepared routine like gymnastics, and that definitely allowed people to prepare some crazy moves. It's around this time that we started to see people utilize more momentum in their dynamics to allow for more air, like muscle up 360s, pull up 360s, and later the swing 360, the kickflip of freestyle calisthenics.
Get a kickflip! Holy shit.
But freestyle calisthenics is not gymnastics. The culture, the people that gravitate towards the sport, they're different. See, I grew up around freestyle sports, skateboarding, snowboarding, and ever since I started calisthenics, I noticed something about the sport that feels like I'm doing the same type of thing. Innovating on the fly, flowing with what the spot gives you, creating your own style, and honestly, sending shit that scares you. Calisthenics attracts that same type of personality. And just like with a lot of other freestyle sports, on the West Coast, something was brewing.
I believe in me.
In 2012, the World Calisthenics Organization, based in LA, would start a series of comps called Battle of the Bars, which came to shape the entire culture of the sport. Battle of the Bars opted for a battle-style competition, pitting two athletes against each other head-to-head in a series of rounds, cultivating a need for athletes to improvise, improve, and do anything it takes to outdo the other athlete in battle.
I saw Juan's video, and I just all of a sudden see this dude flying up, down, and I can hear the crowd going, ah! That moment just changed my whole life.
I never prepare my routine. I just like to do different things.
With this Battle of the Bars being a new style of a competition, a one-on-one type of a battle, you're looking at a whole wide range of new things that are going to happen.
It was these competitions that propelled athletes to start inventing and throwing crazier and crazier moves, pushing the boundaries of explosive power combined with gravity to get the absolute most air possible. If the guy you're battling throws something crazy, you can't just stick with the plan. You have to improvise. As the years went on, more and more battle-style comps started popping up all over the world. The athletes got better, the margins thinner, and while the big single tricks were still very prevalent, slowly, a new way of doing things began to emerge. Combos. How many tricks can you do back to back with no dead swing in between? Suddenly, it wasn't only about how big your tricks were, but also how long and complex your combos were. As athletes became more and more efficient with their movement, using more momentum, more explosive power, fixing form to spin more efficiently, faster, bigger, and higher to be able to do the most insane tricks physically possible, suddenly, in order to push boundaries, you had to be crazy and crazy good. From around the year 2017 and upwards, the world of freestyle calisthenics exploded to a different level with a new breed of tricks dubbed super moves. So it's kind of hard to define a super move. It usually involves a double spin, some sort of crazy flip, or even a trick that's performed over the bar. It's hard to give it an exact definition, but you know it when you see it. It's usually one of the craziest things you've ever seen anyone do on a bar. During that time, we witnessed the world's first 720s, Supra 540s, Super 540s, 900s, And even during the time that I started writing this video to the moment that I recorded this video, some crazy kid in Kazakhstan caught the world's first 1080.
Great success.
No one had ever pulled these moves in any sport, anywhere. Over the course of years, these tricks slowly got more common, and we were seeing videos of athletes all over the world start to catch them. However, we still hadn't seen anybody throw a super move in comp, which goes to show you how much harder it is to catch a trick in training and catch a trick in a competition. That's until this kid from Mexico, Tony Gaste, set the new level, catching 720s in competition with so much ease, on any bar, in any round. After Tony, we started seeing more and more people striving to incorporate super moves into their competition rounds, and thus, super moves that were one time considered impossible became relatively commonplace. But that's the thing about freestyle sports, they crave innovation. Today, the absolute highest level of freestyle calisthenics has been dubbed the God Combo, a combo with 2, 3, or more super moves. That name alone should tell you how hard this is to do. Only a handful of people in the world have thrown these combos in competition. But every day, all over the world, people are working to raise the bar. One can only wonder what comes next. Alright, I hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you did, please take the time to like it, subscribe to the channel, and let me know in the comment section what other topics I should cover in the next videos. That's really the best way to support the channel. Hope you guys enjoyed it, and thank you for your time.